really feel some kind of way about this.
Oh, baby, you'll find out. We're gonna find out who Mr. Marcus is later on tonight. not that in that way, but I'm gonna be her Mr. Marcus tonight. Okay, so that's what.
So Valentine's Day is amongst us,
and there are a million people that are about to celebrate the holiday.
So we've got 3 ways to redefine Valentine's Day.
3 ways, because fellas, I'm getting tired of seeing y'all post all these dry, regular old Valentine's Day things. And ladies, I am frankly tired of you posting these basic, teddy bear, candy. Why don't we redefine it? Why don't we do something different for Valentine's Day? And why don't we give the people something different? Because that's what Married People's Business is all about. Attacking issues that are different, giving you innovative and creative ways to think about doing things. So like, for example, Shalise told me, she said she wanted something new for Valentine's Day today. She wanted to be experimental. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to wear a baseball cap in honor of my man, Mr. Marcus. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to do something different for my wife today. We're going to do a little role play. I'm going to be Mr. Marcus at some point today and tonight. And if we look at my wife's face, because she is such an innocent young thing, she has no clue who Mr. Marcus is, which that's the reason why I love this woman, because she is angelic and she is so, so innocent. At least that's what she tells me. So why don't y'all drop in the comments, give my wife some idea who Mr. Marcus is. And keep it PG, y'all. Keep it PG. But we're going to jump right into it. Let's get into these 3 things and 3 ways that we are going to redefine the Valentine's holiday so that we can help our good audience have a very successful and prosperous Valentine's Day, February 14th. So go. What's the first thing we're going to do to redefine Valentine's Day?
Well, before you got into the whole soliloquy about Mr. Marcus and me not knowing, because I have no clue what that is all about.
You really don't know who Mr. Marcus is, baby?
I don't. So I'm just going to dive into number 1.
That's why I'm wearing a baseball cap.
Okay. Okay. I'll just go.
You know what I'm going to do? We're going to find out who Mr. Marcus is tonight, because it's Married People's Business. So everything that we do, we could do it legally, y'all.
Are we talking about Marcus from Boomerang? I'm thrown off now, because I don't even know what you're talking about. Oh my God.
You know what? Your chat, what is the crew you got? The Dark Knight crew. What's the crew?
Oh, the Insomniacs.
The Insomniacs. I'm sure one of your friends from the Insomniacs is gonna be able to share with you. The Twitch girl. They'll some of your friends. And
okay, I'll put as soon as we are done. I'm gonna put that in the chat, because I have no idea, and I'm so thrown off now, because this was.
This is all about Valentine's Day. It's about about being creative for your spouse. It's about role playing. It's about doing all kind of cool things. So we're going to give you some different things. We're going to give you 3 tips. And let's start with the number 1 tip on how to redefine Valentine's Day.
The first way that we talk about redefining Valentine's Day really goes into what you started out talking about, and the commercialism that has come along with it. This is an industry that has in the past garnered $25 billion spent around this time. That's a lot of money being spent on Valentine's Day. So the first way I think you can redefine it is to be money wise. Be wise with your money.
I like that.
This industry is expected to have $27.5 billion spent this year on Valentine's Day. So how can you effectively make a difference in that amount? Well, I would say, number 1, spend it in your community.
Okay.
I think you were telling me before we were recording the statistics that you were looking at. It was $188 spent on average per person on Valentine's Day. So are you spending that, is that being spent in your community? Are you supporting a local business? Are you supporting someone that that's in business? That's definitely a way to redefine those dollars being spent on Valentine's Day or around Valentine's Day.
No, I agree with you 100%. And I know in preparation for this podcast, we're having a little bit of fun. But one of the things that we always try to do is to really attack issues from a different perspective and a different angle. And one of the angles is the financial piece. Married people's business, y'all. It's about your business. It's about making you better. It's about bringing you together socially and economically. So when you look at the pie that is being spent, over for the holiday. Valentine's Day is the third most expensive holiday, right? So we have a lot of different things that we do on these holidays, a lot of initiatives. We have Black Friday, we have small business Saturdays and sort. So, what Shalise and we think would be a good idea, and I think the numbers would suggest that, is to reallocate a portion of that $27 billion that people are expected to spend. And, if you have a friend that has a business, if you have businesses that are in your community that sells some of these Valentine's Day goods, why don't you reallocate those resources to those places? Help a friend, help a family member. And I could give you an example of, what I do for years. Then I'm gonna give a shout out. I'm gonna give a shout out to Nicole Brewer, Mary Kay, Diva. She does a lot of great Valentine's Day gifts and different things around this holiday. So every year I support her business and I get Shalise some perfume and a balloon and a basket, a very nice Mary Kay Diva basket. And not only do I make my wife happy, but I also support somebody that is a friend and somebody that is local. I'm having a local impact on our economy. So that's a portion of that $27 billion plus that we are going to spend. Take that and support a friend with it, support a family member with it. And I think that is a way that we could change the holiday in terms of how we celebrate it.
Yeah, if we're intentional with how we spend that money and where we spend that money, people always think, oh, a big fancy dinner, go out to the city or whatever. Support a local restaurant in your community. We've got a lot of restaurants in our communities that can be supported, and it doesn't always have to be here's a fancy dinner or a fancy gift or anything like that. Sometimes it's just about being intentional. So
no, I agree with that. And if you look at the statistics on the holiday Valentine's Day when we were preparing for this podcast, that of that $27 billion that is spent annually on Valentine's Day, about $188 of that goes to each person. So it's $188 per person that's being spent. So even if you don't want to spend the whole $188 that that is being spent on a local vendor or a friend, you can at least take 50% of that, even 20%, even 40% of that is going to go a long way. And statistically, fellas, men spend twice as much on Valentine's Day as women do. That's just a useless fact that I just wanted to throw out there for the fellas. So
I like that you said it was a useless fact.
You know what? I should have. That was a Freudian. No, that was a Freudian slip. It's not exactly useless. It's a very important. That was very important fact that just to let the ladies know who listening and watching that we spend too much for y'all on this special day.
Oh gosh.
But I digress. Go ahead. Let me fix my Mr. Marcus hat. Cat. All right, go ahead.
So next, I think I'll move on to the second way that
What's the second way?
You can redefine Valentine's Day. And that's, to start something new. It's not necessarily always about romanticism to me.
It's not?
No.
Shoot, look, that's what I'm on.
I'm gonna tell you as we start. This is the start of season 4 for our podcast.
Okay.
And we started our podcast. It launched on Valentine's Day.
Good point.
In 2022. So we've had the start of 4 seasons around this day. So start something new. Look at your goals. Create new goals. I think this is the perfect time to do that.
No, I agree with you 100%. And I think that there's so much focus on this day as being a day of hedonism.
Oh, God.
A day of smooching and cooching and rubbing rubbing on each other and kissing on each other. Although I do like to do
Mooching
those things
and cooching.
with my beautiful
Don't
chocolatey
touch my face.
chocolatey wife.
Smooching and cooching.
There's other things that you can do other than smooching and cooching.
Right. It can be
And
family activities.
I'm on trademark that smooching and cooching because
please do.
somebody listening to that gonna run out to the trademark association and try to take my terms. And this Black History Month too. We didn't had too much stolen from us. So don't trademark my smooching and cooching term. All right. But there's too much smooching and cooching going around. And this is a day that can be used to really strengthen your relationships with your couple relationship. Shalise and I are very intentional about making sure that we water each other, right? So create an asset. Start a YouTube channel. Do something that you can do together as a couple and as a unit. And make that an annual ritual. So instead of just going out to a basic dinner on Valentine's Day or doing the basic things that typically is done with that $27 billion, let's do something different to grow each other. Start a business, start an LLC, create an LLC, open up a joint banking account. I'm ministering to some women here because some of y'all running around here with separate bank accounts. The Holy Spirit is telling me to speak to y'all. Join those assets. Combine those assets on Valentine's Day.
You are on one today. You really are on one.
Because the Holy Spirit is speaking to me and telling me that y'all need to consolidate. Can I get a... Y'all need the Valentine's Day is a day of reinvesting in your relationship, creating unity amongst you, getting rid of those joint bank accounts, getting rid of those side dudes and side chicks, getting rid of all of that stuff and starting and reinvesting in each other and starting the relationship anew, reinvention.
Hey, you are so extra. So,
Mr.
but
Marcus,
the other thing that I would say, while we do focus on married couples and partnerships, this can also be a time to start something new with your family, with your siblings or your children. You can create family traditions for Valentine's Day.
And I know I'm joking about the Mr. Marcus hat.
Would you stop? Because I don't know what this is, and I feel so in the dark.
And that's what's so funny about it, because you don't know who that is, because that means that you are such an innocent soul. You are such an innocent soul. But
I feel like you're making fun of me.
I'm not making fun of you, but the point I'm making is, starting something new as married couples. Again, we promote married couples, but this podcast is not just for married couples, but I'm speaking to the married couples right now. Starting something new is also reinvesting in yourself, but it's also being creative for your mate and being creative for your spouse. So doing things that just a little race.
Stop touching my face like that.
It's a little race. You don't want me to touch your face?
That's not comfortable for me.
Okay, I'm sorry. But just start something new, do something new, and just don't relegate it to the physical romantic part of your relationship. Do something that's going to grow you not only spiritually, socially, but financially. So that's the message that we give for number 2.
Yeah.
So what's the last thing here?
The last thing, I think, in my opinion, is really a major thing, and that's to make it a day of forgiveness.
Oh, okay. You brought it back home.
Because while you're talking about how you can have the romanticism and the relationship with people that that are going to be doing things with you, or you can gather together. There are some broken relationships out there that you might have. So make this a day of forgiveness. If you haven't spoken with someone in a while, and maybe that relationship cannot be mended, but that forgiveness is for you. So that allows you to start anew, and you break free from whatever that was bringing you down. I think that, it allows you an opportunity to reconnect with that person possibly. And this doesn't have to be somebody that you've been involved with romantically. This could be a sibling, a cousin, an aunt, a friend. It doesn't have to go towards that. But if you had some type of significant fracture in a relationship, try to mend it that day. Try to forgive for that.
I agree. And I think the whole concept of this podcast and the 3 things to redefine Valentine's Day, this out of all the 3 really, really, really touched my spirit, because what it does is it really refocuses the holiday on more than just couples. And it focuses on love, and it focuses on
Yes.
relationships that we should all share and be in common bond with one another, the human race, making sure that we love one another, that we uplift one another, and that we encourage one another. And unfortunately, throughout this process we call life, where there are bumps and bruises, there are relationships that are fractured, there are things that are said that are hurtful, things, people do things to you that might not necessarily jive with what you think a friend should do. But because this is a day of love, this love not only applies to your mate or to the person you're with, it applies to our family, it applies to our friends. And we should all strive on this one day to really mend broken relationships and to really, really affect the change that we want to see, not only in ourselves, but in other relationships. And this is the time to be the bigger person. This is the time to step forward and to say, I'm sorry, and reach out to that friend that you have a broken relationship with. And just start that relationship anew and really reach out to that person and mend broken fences. So I really, really love that third component. And I think that is a useful way to celebrate and to honor a day of love, love in relationships, but more importantly, love of humanity and love of friendships.
And I'm glad you addressed it from the other side too, because if you know that there's been something that you may have done to hurt somebody, reaching out, being the person to say I'm sorry, and being the bigger person to look over whatever it was that created that fracture. I'm glad you brought that out, because it takes you back to looking at that relationship, that friendship, that family member, saying, why were we the good parts of what we were to begin with? And you go back to that. So, we're all human. And that's what it comes down to. And God created us all to love.
So there you go. You have it. 3 ways to redefine the Valentine's holiday. Let's run them down again. Number 1 is what?
Be money wise.
Number 2 is start something new. And number 3, final and foremost,
a day of forgiveness. Forgive, forgive, forgive.
So you got the 3. Go and deploy it. Deploy love, encourage relationship building, consensus building, and celebrate this Valentine's Day in a way that you have never celebrated it before. And while you're doing that, please be sure to subscribe to the Married People's Business platform and podcast. We would love to hear what you have to say. We would love to hear you educate my beautiful wife on who Mr. Marcus is. Drop in the comments.
I really feel some kind of way about this.
Oh, baby, you'll find out. You're gonna find out who Mr. Marcus is later on tonight. not that in that way, but I'm gonna be her Mr. Marcus tonight. Okay, so that's what we gonna do. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We love you guys. Hit the share it. We love you guys, and thank you for tuning in for this podcast.
See you next time.
Take care. Bye-bye.